The following is a presentation of KSL Sports. First and 12. A total roundup of BYU and Utah football and the expanded Big 12 Conference. Subscribe to the First and 12 podcast. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Alex Kirry on KSL News Radio.
What is up, Big 12 football fans? Every Tuesday night, we're holding it down here on KSL News Radio, talking Big 12 football. Mitch Harper and Alex Kirry with you. If you miss any part of the program, you can listen to the show on podcast, KSL Sports app, or Apple, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Just search First and 12, and we've got you covered for a weekly check-in on the Big 12. And one of our favorite segments on the program is the Big 12 Sound Roundup.
Big 12 Sound Roundup.
Check 1, 2.
The best bites, cheap shots, and excuses from Saturday's post-game news conferences.
All right, first up here on our Sound Roundup, let's take a dip into Kyle Whittingham, who must have been, listen, he's done a great job of being measured and semi-calm at these press conferences in the postgame. I would not, check that, I would love to have been a fly on the wall. I would not love to have been a guy on that Utah team in the locker room. Kyle Whittingham, though, his team righted the ship. It took them a half to do it. I mean, all they had to do was finish drives, and that's exactly what they wanted to go through. Here was Kyle Whittingham and his reaction right off of the bat against that first half and the struggles they had on the offensive side of the ball, putting points on the board.
We, moved the ball up and down the field. In fact, we had 540 some odd yards of offense, and it was almost exactly split evenly in between halves, but drastic difference in the scoreboard. We just found a way to not finish drives in the first half and missed a few kicks and consequently it was a tight game at halftime, 3-0. But then in the second half, complete flip from what we did in the first half as far as finishing drives. The yardage again was about the same, 270 roughly in each half, but we got to finish drives, and that's what we did in the second half. And fortunately, our defense was good the entire night and kept us in the game when we were struggling in the first half and not getting any points on the board, so very pleased with the defensive output. Special teams, we have some things to work on. We did do some good things. Kicked the ball well on kickoff out of the end zone. Didn't have to cover any kickoffs. One punt is all, and we did a good job on that rep. And so some good things, but certainly some things to work on.
Utah finished with 541 yards, as Whittingham noted. 230 through the air, 311 on the ground. But, yeah, the scoring heated up in the second half, 28 points, and they just hammered old YO in Laramie. It wasn't even close. It was never in question. It was just kind of self-inflicted wounds. But Devin Dampier, too, 27 of 41, 230, no interceptions, 2 touchdowns. He's taking care of the football, which was a huge storyline coming into the season. He's taking care of the rock.
When he dropped that ball, when that fumble happened into the backfield and he ended up scooping it up and throwing a touchdown, I could just imagine what's going on in his head when that ball hits the turf and he's trying to pick that thing up. To turn that thing around and to put it on the money in the end zone was wild. That was quite a play from over the weekend. A very underrated play as well, because people looked at it and went, oh, Devin Dampier, he's awesome. To have that kind of to have that awareness and to be able to keep in your head and to keep those eyes downfield, that's such a hard thing to do in that type of situation. Hey, Rich Rod 2.0 is back at West Virginia. And, of course, his first year back, he welcomed everyone back into his fold with a nice win over Pitt in the backyard brawl. Here's what he said afterward.
I'm so happy for our kids, for the state of West Virginia.
What does this mean, Coach?
State of West Virginia. We got a lot of grit. We got a lot of hardworking people. Don't ever quit. Don't ever quit. West Virginia Mountaineers, don't ever quit.
What do you think made the difference, Coach?
Just kept playing. The longer the game's going to go, the better for West Virginia. God bless the Mountaineers, and God bless West Virginia.
I love that. He's such a panderer, too. I mean, is there a version of kissing babies, and is it like hugging a piece of coal in West Virginia? Like, I love it. He's like, we got a lot of hard-working, blue-collared, land-loving people here
because you
love our country. Like, he starts breaking out all the stuff to pander to the fandom. Next week they could lose the game and he'll be like, what do you expect, you guys? Like, I can't be a miracle worker immediately out here. Like, it's just so funny. It almost sounded like They interviewed a drunk guy in the parking lot. That's what it sounded like.
God bless the Mountaineers.
Hey, man, we got out there, got it done.
That was totally a speech to say, I still love this place because there was
people wondered.
There was probably still pockets of that fan base. They're like, really? We hired him again? He left us high and dry from Michigan.
Yeah.
And then he pulls that out, homegrown guy. Mountaineer fans are loving him now. It's because also they lose to Ohio the week prior. The people are probably like, why did we bother doing this?
Yeah, this guy's out.
So that was a little bit much, but it probably spoke to his base, and they probably loved it. And it really was. It felt very political. God bless the Mountaineers.
He's like, you see all these people out here, and like his PR guy whispers in his ear and like tells him a couple people's names. I met a guy today, John, who works at Walmart. Just loved that we got the win for him. It's like, come on, kissing babies out there.
I'm picturing what coach Joey McGuire saying, "God bless the Red Raiders." Kyle Whittingham saying, "God bless the Utes." It's just only the Mountaineers. That's the only one that works.
Yeah, no, and it speaks to the fan base. There you go. Now on the low side of things, you've got Kansas State head coach Chris Klieman, who right now is scratching his head, and so is the rest of the Purple Nation there in Manhattan, Kansas, who want to know what the Wildcats are doing. Here's what he had to say after their loss against Arizona down in Tucson.
I feel bad for Ave because I think he's playing well enough for us to win, but he's not getting the time, and we've got to do some evaluating ourselves as a staff of what we need to adjust and change because I don't know what our identity is right now after 4 games. I thought I did after Iowa State, but that hasn't come to fruition. So I know the kids want to win, and I know the kids, we got tough, resilient kids in there that'll come back and battle. We've got great kids. We've got to find some things. Maybe we got to simplify some stuff on both sides of the ball so that our kids can play faster. I thought we didn't play as fast as I would have hoped.
That's coach speak for we're not tough enough.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's weird, too, because Kansas State has always – their identity – when he says, I don't know what our identity is, Kansas State's identity has always been tough in the trenches. They kind of push people around. They're these homegrown farm kids who are just stronger than you are, and they show up and they beat you at the line of scrimmage, and then that's where it starts. And then you add a couple of skill players, and they'll really beat you. And instead, they have this amazing skill player quarterback, and the poor kid feels like he's by himself on this team right now. And what he's saying is, our kids aren't very tough right now. He said, we have tough and resilient kids. We're going to have to go back. They're not tough right now. And that's weird to say about a Chris Klieman team and about a Kansas State team that we grew up watching be very, very tough in the trenches, and they are nowhere near that right now.
Coming out of week 0, you and I both thought this was a really tough football team. And even you heard there, Klieman, he thought coming out of Ireland that was probably the case too. He thought he knew what their identity was despite that loss, and that hasn't showed up at all since. The defense has been terrible. And the thing is, too, is they let Noah Fafita go off for some big yardage on the ground. And look, Noah Fafita, he can run, definitely. He's a good athlete, but that's not what he does. He drops back and slings the rock, and they were letting him take off. And then you pair that up with the success that Arizona had on the ground with their running backs. This is not good for Kansas State, and this is just territory that makes you go, does this suddenly ramp up the heat on Klieman, who's been consistent, but just 3 years ago, he wins a Big 12 title.
Yeah.
But now, though, how quick things change in college football, and ever since NIL came into play, they've just had these duds more times than not in these games at K-State, and they got to get it fixed.
He's this year's Dave Aranda from last year. I mean, what's funny? Close, not that far removed from a Big 12 championship, right? And then he starts to struggle. How did Dave Aranda turn that thing around? They had to win 6 games in a row at the end of the year last year to prove to people like, oh, no, we're still a talented team.
Well, and think about at Texas A&M, who had that big win over Notre Dame. Who's their OC? Colin Klein. Kansas State, great. That's the type of guy.
That's crazy that he's already calling plays at that level.
Not to say that, I just think he would be someone that come home, be the head coach, be a guy that's the innovator.
Down. Mitch is already firing people in the Big 12.
Look, I like Chris Klieman a lot, but sometimes these things, when you are expected to be a title contender and then you can't even win games and you're not competitive, that's surprising.
They've already lost the amount of games that they did last year across conference play. I mean, they were They were 9-3 last year after the end of the regular season. They lost their bowl game too, but guess what? They were 9-3 last year, and this year they're already 1-3. It's wild.
Coach Prime and the Buffs, they're struggling now, and Ryan Staub, he did not perform well. He got the start at Houston. This was Coach Prime on Ryan Staub and what he thought of his performance.
Staub didn't play well. I saw what you saw. He did not play well today. That wasn't his best, to say the least. I have no idea. Right now. Right now, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about what transpired and how can we prevent what transpired from happening again.
Life comes at you fast. 1 week he's Martin Luther Staub, and then now it's I saw what I saw. You guys saw what you saw it too. Ryan Staub didn't look like the right answer at QB1. Do you think they go back to Caden Salter, or do they go to Juju Lewis, the true freshman?
I think if you pull the trigger on Juju Lewis, it's because you're desperate.
Yeah.
I don't think they're there yet. I think that Caden Salter's enough of a leader that he reels some things in and starts to get some. He wasn't totally. I don't think that Caden Salter's totally out of sorts, and he's won 40 games in his college career. You know what I mean? Like that guy knows how to win games, and I think that Colorado just needs to get a little bit of a reset. I think that can happen this week. Don't just start. You can't go 3 weeks in a row, have 3 different starting quarterbacks, and say that everything's okay. So I say don't go to the 5-star freshman yet. I say you either stay with Caden Salter that you've had the last couple of weeks, or you go Ryan Staub. We're going to still go with him. We're going to give him that shot that he had last week and keep going there. Don't pull out a third quarterback already. Your 5th game into the season or your 4th game into the season. That's just not a good look. You're already at a spot right now where you feel a little bit desperate. Don't go all the way desperate yet if you're Colorado. Next week though, if you lose this week, are they in a bye this week? No, they
got Wyoming.
They have Wyoming this week, and Wyoming's not. I don't think Wyoming's a pushover. Wyoming was legitimately tough
defense
than I thought they were going to be against Utah. So and they'll smell blood in the water too. Like Colorado's got to change some things up for this next week, but I don't know. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, guess what we have? We have our games of the week. We can only pick one apiece. I think we all know what the big one in the conference is going to be.
I think we need to agree on one this time. This week.
We could. I also have a vote for one that's a sneaky, really, really good game that you're going to want to watch out for as well. So there's good games. The conference is starting to fire up. That means we're not having the directional school states against the Big 12 a bunch in the next few weeks here. We're going to start getting into conference play. That's all coming up next right here. It is 1st and 12 on KSL News Radio. Mitch Harper, Alex Kirry.